Hello and good evening. I am Michelle Miller, and welcome back to the Ringside Rivalry Studio. This is our ninth episode of Slam Stories, and I'm alongside my trusty sidekick, Victoria Valentine. Hello there, Victoria. How are you?
Hello, Michelle. I'm doing well tonight. It seems like a nice night. It's gorgeous outside. Absolutely loving that. How is you? How are you doing so far?
Same. It's been busy, but I have definitely enjoyed the day, and I am extremely looking and excited and looking forward to our guest tonight. We have finally arrived to our episode with ring announcer Aaron Rose. So we have him waiting patiently for us backstage, but I am super excited to be able to get to know him a little better and hear some of those stories that he's got tucked away because being center stage like let's put it out there. You see a lot. You see a lot backstage. You're watching what's going in the ring. You see a lot in the crowd. There's a lot going on out there. Well, I do see that there is some chat going on, so I'm going to go ahead and I will let you take over so that we can see who's with us out there.
Okay, awesome. Take it. It's mine. So we actually have Matt Marks joining us saying hello, ladies.
Hello and welcome. Hope you're doing well, Matt.
Looks like we also have Denny Howell joining in tonight. Hello.
Hey, Benny.
And Steve Stanton is in the chat. Good evening, ladies. Good evening.
Hello, Steve. Good to see everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. You guys are certainly in for a treat because, believe me, ring announcer Aaron Rose, that may be what it reads on his Facebook page, but he is so much more than that. He has dabbled here, there, everywhere, it seems. Maybe I'm over exaggerating, but we're going to let him go ahead and tell us all about that because you know me, I'm not going to go ahead and sit here and try to paraphrase this man's professional career into some type of makeshift book report that we all used to hate back in our school years. I'm going to let you go ahead and bring the gentleman on himself, and let's see what he's got going on in his world.
Hey!
Hello there.
Hello. How are y'all doing?
Oh, I'm doing very well. How are you?
Doing wonderful. Excited to be here and tell some stories with y'all. So it's gonna be a fun night for sure.
Oh, absolutely. We always have fun here at Ringside Rivalries, don't we, Victoria?
It's always a party.
We try to behave ourselves, but what can we say? We go ahead and sometimes it's wrestling. Those emotions, they get to you. Things get crazy, especially when we don't agree on things when it comes to matches. So sometimes we're both competitive. So when the game happens later, it's just the way it goes. But I will say we try our best. Before I keep talking, I see more chat bubbles coming up. So, Victoria, I'm going to let you take over again because I like to let our chat go first.
Yes, we had Anthony joining the chat, just saying hello, gorgeous ladies. Mr. Everyone Filter.
Hello, Anthony, and welcome. Thank you for coming in and visiting with us on another episode here of Slam Stories. That is our Anthony. He's a very dedicated fan. We appreciate all of his love and support that he is constantly showing us.
Yes. And we also had Denny Howell chopping back in, saying always great time here. Awesome. Thank you. It's always great when we got chat, especially when Denny starts yelling at people. It's great. It's always fun. It's always fun.
Oh, yeah.
It's always fun.
That's the way it should be, though. That's the way it should be, and I wouldn't have it any other way. I don't think anyone else would have it any other way, so no. Oh, well, thank you, Victoria. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to take back over because I'm ready to finally sit down and speak with this gentleman. I'm going to start with you like I do everybody else, Mr. Rose. We're going to go ahead and we're going to go back to the beginning. So what I want to know first and foremost, were you always a wrestling fan growing up, or is this an interest that you found later on down the road?
All right. Well, I'm gonna age myself a little bit here to if you have a younger audience, but I am a big fan of Memphis wrestling, and it started as young as me being 4 years old, and going to spend the weekends with my grandfather who lived in a little town called Carlisle, Kentucky, and
Yes.
we would wake up Saturday mornings and head down to just a little diner, have some breakfast, and they would always have on the TV, they would have the Memphis Wrestling ready to go, followed immediately after by WWF Superstars. So that was our routine, and we would sit there and watch, watch wrestling on Saturday mornings. That's how I got into it, and then of course
Okay.
was a fan as well, and
Hmm.
he actually worked when I was a lot younger. He actually worked for a local NBC affiliate in Lexington, and he would get free tickets all the time to WWF events when they came to Rep Arena, and that was our thing. So my very first show, I got to go with all the Rose men. It was me, my grandfather, my father, and my uncle, and we all got to go enjoy our first show and at Rep Arena, and it was actually right when Ric Flair had just diverted to WWF in like '91.
Okay.
That was one of my very first opportunities to go, and he was actually there with the big gold belt, which nowadays, you remember how iconic that was,
Yes.
and that back then I'm like, okay, he has the championship belt. What did he win? I don't remember. I was 6 years old. I didn't think about the significance, but no, he had the big gold belt with him at Rep Arena. And now you look back and I was like, wow, I really saw history there. So, but yeah, that was one of our very first shows. And then I think in the main event of that night was Bret the Hitman Hart versus the Mountie for the Intercontinental Championship. And, I was hooked, the live shows from there on, it was great because again, my dad got tickets to every single one when he worked for our NBC affiliate, and had an absolute blast. So that's how I got into wrestling.
That's awesome. And it takes me back to a lot of where I had gotten started with my interest because we're not that far off. We're not that far off with our favorites. I go a little further back than you do, but we won't talk about that. But what I can say is, oh my goodness, how dare you say the words "the Mountie" on my podcast? No, and I laugh, and I'm surprised Victoria didn't bust out laughing. My son, we we watch old episodes of whatever's out there when it comes to wrestling, and recently we had started watching the WWF Superstar episodes again.
Uh-huh.
And so a lot of those wrestlers are fresh in his mind and all that. And sometimes that song that man had for his entrance.
Now, yeah, I remember that, but I also remember the one that he had that was just like, it was kind of like a Regal sounding type song that didn't have any lyrics or anything. But then then after that, later on, you hear the "I'm the Mountie."
Yeah, that's it. That's the one. He's probably sitting back watching this show right now, singing it.
And God forbid you give him control of the car radio, and next thing you know, you've got on the Mountie blaring while we're
Yes.
trying to drive in the road.
Yep.
And we're not kidding.
It is the only time that I regret trying to teach my children to be fair and take turns, because when it comes to his, yes, Xavier, I am calling you out live on Facebook and YouTube, but when it comes to his pick,
Oh my gosh.
you will hear the Mountie at least once, if not twice, while in my vehicle with him.
That's amazing. And I'll tell you this, just to kind of divert off just for a second, I loved the theme songs of these wrestlers back in the day. You had some really amazing songs. You go back and look at Shawn Michaels, you go back and look at Bret Hitman Hart, Hulk Hogan, of course, the Ultimate Warrior. My personal favorite, though, had to be Demolition's theme.
Really?
Oh, I love Demolition's theme. Yes. That was awesome. And, it's done by Rick Derringer, of course, the same guy who did Hulk Hogan's theme.
Right.
And I don't know. There's just something about it. Like, I'll never forget sitting down watching WrestleMania 6 and, them coming out to take on Haku and Andre the Giant for the tag titles. And just hearing the pop that the Sky Dome gave him when that song hit. I was like, yes. So, that was for me, that was just, epic. So if I ever hear that song, I will turn it up on my car radio.
And there's nothing wrong with that. We all have our favorites. And yeah, I think my family is extremely guilty of listening to our favorite theme songs a few times.
Nothing wrong with it. Nothing wrong with it.
No, Victoria, it looks like we have someone popping in. Take it away.
All right. We actually had John joining in the chat, our Johnny B hopping in, saying hello.
Hey,
hello. Welcome in. And then we had Denny Howell saying the best time was when the Mountie was in jail at SummerSlam.
I remember that. Big Boss Man had a great theme too.
You know what? I'm fine with that. Lock that man up and throw away the key. No, I'm just kidding.
Okay.
I'm taking my hatred for his theme song a little too far. Okay. I gotcha.
I know you get a little extreme over there, lady. Calm down. Calm down a few tears.
I apologize. I digress. Oh. Well, I want to know, what is it about wrestling that captivated you? What was it that, I mean, everybody, I don't want to say everybody's a fan because that's not true, but there are a lot of us out there. What was it that you were like, no, I'm going to go further and I'm actually going to work in the ring, behind the scenes, wherever it is I'm going to do something.
Well, it kind of goes back a little further than that. When I was in college, let me rephrase that. When I was in high school, I had the opportunity to work for a local hockey team. They were a AA hockey team called the Lexington Men of War. And there was I was part of a group called the Ice Patrol. We were the goofballs that would shoot t-shirts into the crowd, just have a good time, get the crowd hyped. That was our job. And it was a blast. Loved every minute of it. Well, we had two announcers. One was our regular PA announcer who, did the goals and the penalties, starting lineups, did everything like that. Yeah. And then there was an in-crowd announcer. Well, the in-crowd announcer one night, or one day, because it was a Sunday, and I'll never forget this, she showed up inebriated to her work. So we had about 4,000 people coming in for a game that day, and the general manager said, I need an in-crowd announcer. Who wants to give it a shot? I will. So I gave it a go.
Oh, yeah.
And my first public speaking experience was inside Rupp Arena in Lexington, Kentucky. And for those of you who have been there before, and it was an older arena, they had a speaker system, big cluster speaker system in the center, and they called it Big Bertha. And that was the coolest moment, hearing my voice come out over those speakers. So when I heard that, I was just like, oh man, all right, this is cool. So the love kind of continued on after that. When I was an aide for one of the teachers my senior year of high school, and he was the baseball coach. And he said, hey, I know that you have done you worked with the hockey team. Would you like to be the PA announcer for our baseball team? He said, I'll pay you a few bucks to do it. You'll get paid. And, I just need you to play some music, walk-up songs, stuff like that. Would you be willing to do it? I said, yeah, absolutely. I'd love to give baseball a go. So then I got to do baseball. And then I got to call a few games for the Lexington Legends baseball team. I got to do PA for them. And then my freshman year of college, I was going to a lot of the University of Kentucky hockey games. Well, me working for the Men of War, I learned a lot about hockey. I learned the rules. I, knew how to predict the plays because I watched 80 games.
Sure.
You get used to it. It wasn't 80 games, it's like 50, but still.
Enough,
So,
more than enough.
yeah, more than enough in one season. So, I started listening to some hockey games and just hearing what, how they would call it. And, I started picking up, some tips, tricks, stuff like that. And I got to become the voice of the University of Kentucky club hockey team.
Oh, wow.
University of Kentucky club hockey is one of the biggest events at UK because it's a midnight hockey game and they pack the house every game. So having that energy, I was like, oh man, this is awesome.
Yeah.
So I did that. That floated into a radio career. And then all the while, I met a friend of mine named Bobby Blade. Bobby Blade is one of my broadcast partners. And at the time, he was a wrestler.
Okay.
And he said, hey, they're getting ready to transition me back into a manager. They're going to need a ring announcer. Would you be interested? I said, ooh, okay. And he said, it's Kentucky Championship Wrestling. Our shows are at the airport, the National Guard Armory behind the airport.
Okay.
Would you like to give it a go? I said, sure. Well, let's give it a shot. So very first show I work, the main event, I want to say was legendary Larry D and taking on maybe, I think his name was, I don't know. No, it was Chucky Smooth. So Chucky Smooth, he's one of the owners of KCW. And they wanted me, to ring announce the show. I said, sure, let's give it a go. I got my license. They went over stuff with me that first day. This is how we're going to do it, stuff like that. Bobby Blade started ribbing me because, he was the one that brought me in. So he got to have a little bit of fun with me and stuff. He always had a tendency to take the new ring announcers and back them into a corner. Back them into a corner and just like berate them.
Yeah.
Well, one time he goes in and he wore these bandanas because Bobby, I'm sorry if you're watching. I know I'm going to let it be known you're bald, just like me. But he wore these bandanas, and one of the other managers said, he said, which bandana should I wear? This one or this one? And he said, this one smells really bad. The other manager was like, that one. And he backs me into the corner with the most awful bandana smell ever. I'm about to get sick over the top rope. But that was the kind of ribs that we did. And then the next show, I had a little mini bottle of Febreze that I sprayed all over his head when he walked up toward me. Just that kind of stuff. It was fun. So I got started with KCW, and that's, really what kind of got me into it a lot. And another group that I worked a lot with, and KCW is tied to them. They were called the Mountain Wrestling Association, and the MWA was, at the time it was almost 40 years old when I started working for them. It was run initially by Dale TNT Man, and then it was sold to Fargo and then to Dirty Chris Hayes, and they just kept that legacy going. And that at the time, they had one of the wrestlers doing the ring announcing, and he was really ready to get back into the ring. So, he came to me, he's like, you don't know how much this means. So we got him. So I got involved with MWA as well. And things just started to, they really just started to snowball from there. Because with MWA, we had another affiliation, the NWF and Bone Crushers out of Cincinnati, Ohio. I got to do a little bit of work with them. I got to do some work with Tony Presley and New South Wrestling. and he had just moved up his promotion from Mississippi, because it was called NWA New South
Okay.
down in Mississippi, and he moved it up to Kentucky, dropped the NWA affiliation because NWA was kind of doing away with stuff at that point. And it just became New South Wrestling, and it was a big same core group of guys that I used to, that I got to do a lot of shows with, and really developed some good friendships, and even the ones to this day who aren't wrestling anymore, I still like to stay in contact with them.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, and I'm sure every relationship along the way has taught you and brought you further along in your career and development within the industry, with every passing go. I love to hear that you didn't just stay with the one promotion. And that is what I have noticed about you, because still even to this day, you are still going to multiple promotions.
Right.
And I just love that. If people haven't been able to pick that up yet on me, is I don't want to see you at only 1, 2, or 3 places. Get out there, you gain the experience, learn the people, meet the people, and see exactly how far you really can go. You have nothing to lose. And then if it didn't work and you don't like it, then go home.
Exactly. I bounce around like a pinball. I really do.
You do.
And the thing about it is there's an end game to it. I want to get signed to a bigger company at some point, but the thing is I can't get that exposure if I'm not going to different places.
Right. And you can't. That's absolutely 100% true. You can't sit still and hope to be seen. They're not going to come find you. You're going to have to go out and find them. So no, I love that mindset. And I think you're definitely, you're obviously doing it because we see you out there, literally see you out there everywhere, which is why I'm so frustrated with myself that I haven't gotten out there yet, but I will. If I'm not hitting 1, 2, or 3 of your promotions, as soon as we get more settled, I'm going to hit the road again. But I love it. I've got variety
coming up in the summer for sure, and I'll hit that later too. So
okay, yeah, no, absolutely. But then this leads into my next question, really, because again, with you being so into the variety of what promotion you work for and who you work for, I want to step back and look more at the goal. But it looks like we started out as an announcer, but I know you have branched off and you've done so much more. And that's what I want to kind of touch on next to see, in how many different ways has your career progressed, and have you found that because you're constantly evolving, obviously, because you're still not at that point A. Let's talk about those interests in those other areas that you've expanded into.
Well, when I was working with MWA, I developed a relationship with a gentleman up here in Kentucky named William Moorfield. And he runs a company called PrepSpin. It's high school sports streaming, and it's made to be like it's made to kind of give like that ESPN type feel for high schoolers, and it gives them a good platform to work on. So I learned to become a commentator through there, a producer through there, and a director. So I've been able to take those talents and turn them into what I do today. With EWA, I am a ring announcer and commentator. So I have that. With AMW, I'm a producer and ring announcer. I do everything kind of behind the scenes there because, you work in the gorilla position when you're doing stuff like that. So when you're doing the producing, so I run a 3 to 4 camera shoot with AMW, and we produced a show every Tuesday night called AMW Showdown. We just had a taping this past weekend in Hazard, Kentucky, with Billy Gunn. He was in a 6-man main event. As it was him and Kyle Maggard and John Noble versus the Box Office Bonds and a mystery partner. I'm not going to tell you who it is because it hasn't aired yet. So, no spoilers. If Kyle's watching, I'm not spoiling anything. Okay. But so I got to do stuff like that. We've done pay-per-views. back in April, we had an event called the Weekend of Champions, and I got to produce a ladder match and championship match and rumbles and stuff like that. So, and each match is completely different on
Yeah.
how you want to shoot it. I know with like with the 6-person main event, I have one camera guy who's paying attention to the people in the ring. I have another camera guy who's trying to chase Billy Gunn, who's going all around the venue. So, it's that kind of stuff. You gotta learn how to shoot. And I will say this, Kyle Maggard, he's been helping me a lot with my production and how to direct and stuff like that in the world of wrestling. So he's been a big help to me. So big shout out to him for sure. So right now I am just to here are my many hats here. I am a ring announcer, I am a commentator, I am a producer, director, and a backstage interviewer. So do it all. If it involves production, I'm there somehow. The only thing I haven't marked off my list is being an actual cameraman.
Okay.
So
We're patient. I know you'll hit it.
In due time.
What's that?
It's in due time. Give him a second.
Oh, yeah.
It's gonna be looking next month, and
You
it'll be
never
like,
know what
I'm a
goes
camera guy.
And since we have your attention, Victoria, really quick, I did see some things pop up in chat, so I'm going to take a quick break and let's see what's going on in there.
Yes, we had Jasmine Stearns joining the chat, just kicking off with, hey, hello, welcome in.
Hello,
welcome in.
Jasmine.
Glad you could join. And we had Cindy Hilliard saying, finally here. That was
Hello,
good.
Cindy.
Happy
Welcome. No rush. We knew
So-
you'd get here eventually.
And then she was talking with Denny Howe saying, hey, Denny Howe, I made it home safely. Made it home. And then Denny Howe said, I'm glad you made it home safely. Awesome.
Yes, finally.
All right.
Finally here. Cindy's another one of our dedicated fans who we appreciate so much. She tunes in very, very so often, and we love it. We love it so much. All right. Well, I'm going to swing it back this way then to me, Victoria, if I may.
Yeah.
And now you talked about some of those matches. You ran down a list of matches that you have produced, and I'm being as many times as you've been in the ring and announced them. What types of matches do you anticipate to see when you are looking at the cards?
Ooh, it really depends on the show I'm at. If I'm working an AMW show, I'm expecting more of a Southern style presentation. So you're seeing more of your traditional matches. But when they have stuff like a steel cage match or when they have a ladder match, it's big. It means something huge.
Right.
The EWA, they're kind of a balance of like your big indie guys and your Southern style. And then like when I go down to Knoxville this upcoming Sunday for Next Generation Wrestling Tennessee, it is almost like a super indie show there. It's this upcoming show. It's a bunch of young talent. Let me pull up the card real quick because this upcoming event is going to be huge. We're taping for High Spots.
Okay.
So that will be live, or not live, but that'll be on High Spots come probably a couple weeks after we air.
Okay.
But just to give you a rundown of what the card will be like, there's going to be a triple threat match with Jazzy Yang, Mackenzie Morgan, and Erica Demia. So that's going to be awesome. Of course, Jazzy Yang is the daughter of Jimmy Wang Yang.
Okay. That I did.
Teriyaki, he is a Georgia-based wrestler, great high flyer, taking on Trey Lamar. He's a Midwestern guy.
Okay.
That will be your type of high spots matches. That's you're going to see a lot of high flying.
Yeah.
Excited for that. Then we have a brawl that I'm sure. Well, it's a match that I'm sure will turn into a brawl.
Okay.
As the Hellhounds, Shaft and Rush Jones, they are the AAW Tag Team Champions out of Chicago. They're taking on AJ Gray and Judge Joe Dredd. Joe Dredd is a deathmatch wrestler out of Los Angeles. So that's why I say we're going to see a brawl. Of course, Shaft and Russ, those guys are just beasts to begin with as well. So that's going to be fun. Tag team championships are on the line as Nicole Payne and Shane Andrews team up to take on the Lost Boys, Bradley Prescott, Adam Slade. The Lost Boys are absolutely awesome. If you go to an NGW show, it's not complete without them, period.
Oh, okay. I'll have to look those up.
Yeah. Aaron Wade, Isaiah Moore, and Parker Lee in a triple threat match. Again, that's going to be another one of those matches that you're going to see a lot of high flying in it. Sean Legacy, who's a WWE ID wrestler, he takes on Dylan McQueen. He's the CCW Tennessee champion. So that's on there. Matt Cross is going to be there. He's on the card. He is the NGW heavyweight champion. He is going to be in action. We don't know his opponent yet. And Danny Moe, she's going to be in action, and she is a great wrestler based out of the Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. So we got a bunch of great talent for Sunday. I'm so excited for it. This is the show I mark out on because I will go nuts for these matches. That's the way I am. I don't know why. It's just there's something about an NGW show, and I will not have a voice. So
we scheduled this podcast just in time, Victoria.
You did, because if you had me Wednesday, there ain't no way.
He's been having to try to learn sign language or something. He's not going to do. He'll hold poster cards.
Right. But that, so it really depends where I'm at and what you're going to see at those shows. That's the thing about this Kentucky and the South is it really can be diverse in terms of the type of wrestling you'll see. When you move up when you go up to Indiana shows, you see a little more of the super indie style, more of hard hitting stuff like that. So, you definitely do have, some really diverse wrestling out there.
You do. The variety is, I think it's great because that's what I like. And there are a lot, and I love the way though you answer that question because you hit on something that I always talk about, and Victoria can vouch for that. It depends on where I'm going and what I'm looking at because there are several times that I've had people ask me the same thing. Well, is that place better than that place? Or which one do you like better? I'm comparing, apples to oranges here most of the time. You're asking me these questions and there's no way to answer that because the diversity is what it is. There is a plethora of wrestling out there if you seek it out.
You're absolutely correct. Yes. Yes. And see, here's the thing. Every single show I work, I'm excited to be there. I want to be there. I want to put on the best possible show in whatever realm I'm working in. I want to put my best out there. But every place is different. And that's not a bad thing. Because in wrestling, you want diversity.
Right.
You don't want to have the same show everywhere you go. What might be somebody's cup of tea here may not be somebody's cup of tea over here.
No, not at all. And proximity plays a lot into that as well. When you're looking at it. If you're just going to another place to see the same thing just in a different location, it's not going to work. It might in the beginning, but eventually it's not going to play out the way that you want it to.
Right. And that's from a fan standpoint. Now, from a wrestling standpoint, I'm going to use EWA as an example right now and AMW because those are the two right now that are they do a lot over the summertime. Let's just put it that way. And Generation X Pro Wrestling too. I'll talk about them a little bit. So with EWA, You know, we got a big show coming up on May 30th down in Nicholasville, Kentucky. That's going to feature guys like Congo Kong, Shane Mercer, the Box Office Blondes. And we're running in a town we don't normally run in, but it's like whenever we run there, it's a big, big event.
Yeah.
So Nicholasville, it's not our normal town. We normally run in Danville, and they're about 45 minutes apart. So you do get different fans. You also do have a lot of fans that travel too. This same company on Wednesday is putting on a free show at a library to kick off the summer reading program.
That's awesome.
So, you know, and it's just going to be a small part of an event that's going to be like, they're going to have food trucks, read-alongs. They're going to have wrestling matches and all kinds of crazy stuff. So, well, not crazy, but all kinds of great stuff for kids.
Yeah.
So, you know, they're going to be doing that. And then we have fair shows. And then we have our regular monthly show. AMW. We are getting into festival time. This Friday, they're running a festival in Pineville, Kentucky, which I won't be there for that because I will still be working my regular job. Yes, wrestling isn't the only thing I do. I import metals for a car company on the side, so that's my main job. So, but you know, like, so AMW goes into they're going into that. Then we have a giant show on June 15th, my birthday. It's Father's Day too, so double the fun. On Sunday, June 15th, at the Lexington Ice Center in Lexington, Kentucky, we're doing our summer bash show. Cowboy James Storm is going to be on the card. So we're really excited for that. And, you know, we're hoping to have another big crowd, and we're hoping to really, you know, put on a great, I think we're going to try to turn this into a pay-per-view. So more pressure on myself as a director.
Just a little.
So, but hey, it's Wesley. What's up, man? Wesley is awesome. He shows up at our AMW shows and helps out however he possibly can. I've used him as a cameraman. I've used him as a gear runner. Wesley's awesome. Thanks for stopping by, bro.
Hey, Wesley, thanks for joining us.
But AMW, you know, but once we get done with June 15th, we have I think maybe 2 or 3 shows coming up in July that are going to be based around the 4th of July. We're going to have fireworks for a couple nights. So down in the Pikeville area. So I'm really excited for that. You know, I don't think we'll be back inside maybe until August. We're doing a whole bunch of outdoor summer shows.
Yeah, that's the best part of summer, being able to have that change and get out there. And I think that's a cool environment. I like it. But I'm going to have to correct you. All of those fireworks, those aren't for July 4th. Those are for my birthday, July 2nd. It's just such a big event. Okay. We have to do it a few times.
So,
it's easy to get confused. I understand. But just moving forward, just know.
Gotcha. I'll make note of that.
If you believe that, I've got some more for you.
But you know, we have stuff like that coming up, and then one of our commentators for AMW runs his own promotion too, and he's got all kinds of fair shows going on. Like in Kentucky, if you go to a fair, expect to probably see him with a show at that fair. Okay. So, you know, I don't get involved with those too often. I haven't, since I've been back to wrestling. I haven't really gotten a chance to go to any of the fair shows, but, but he, you know, he does a great job with those. And, you know, and that's the only shows he runs are the fair shows, because, you know, to him, that's the best time to do it.
That's the environment he likes, and that's what it's all about. You know, we look into wrestling for enjoyment. So
Absolutely. Wrestling and fairs in Kentucky. Whoo, it's awesome.
Saying he's obviously not doing anything wrong because he's still doing it, which means
Right.
they like it too.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
You want to go ahead and take over and chat really quick before I plague him with more questions?
Yes, I was gonna take it from you because I'm like, okay, hold on, we'll get you behind here. Let's see here. So let me scroll up here. We had Cindy coming in saying, "I love you, girls. We love you just as much, I believe."
Love you more, Cindy. Thank you so much for being here. And I know you try hard. We keep throwing all these podcasts out there saying, look at us. And we appreciate you making the time to do that.
Yes, we're being crazy, that's for sure. Then we had Denny Howell saying sweet to when Aaron was naming that match card. I know, it was sounding pretty freaking killer, man.
Oh, yeah.
Then we had Cindy who were getting excited about Shane Mercer. She said, Shane Mercer? Yes. And then as we saw a moment ago, we had Leslie coming in saying Aaron Rose is the man. Aaron is super encouraging. I can see that 100% all the way, especially with being super encouraging. Just you can tell. You can just tell 100%. Except Michelle, it looks like Denny Howell is trying to call you out.
Uh-oh, what I do now?
He said, Michelle Miller, are we telling your age too? Question mark. He is trying to out you with your age as if you talking about your favorite wrestler, wasn't it?
You know what? I'll tell you what. I'm very proud of my age. I am 42 and I will be 43 in July. Thank you very much.
Take a bow.
I'll be 40.
Oh, we're no longer.
You'll be what, Jared? What was that, Aaron?
40.
40, okay.
Yeah.
I figured you had to be close by your choices. I just knew I still had you on a few years.
I mean, you can see all the gray here too, you know.
Nothing wrong with that. Seasoned.
I once had hair too.
Oh, well, what I want to know, especially now that I know that, you know, how much into the production you are, what is one of the most memorable matches that you've ever produced? Which one it just sticks with you every day?
Ooh. Well, I know the most recent one was Billy Gunn. You know, that stays high on my list. But I think right now, for me, it was this past April. We had there's a couple of them. I'm gonna go with this past November. I got to produce my first War Games event, and that was amazing. You know, we had a great turnout, like 1,200 people in the venue. It was a packed house. We had a double ring, double cage. It was one of the more challenging ones I've had to do because, you know, you just don't with an indie production and only a couple cameras. You know, it's hard to get everything. So, you know, I'm trying to tell the cameraman, go get this, go get that, go get this. You know, it's hard. So I was really proud of that, and I was, you know, really pumped with how that turned out. You know, I got to sit down and go back and watch it, and you know, I just kind of had that hell yeah moment. You know, so I was really pumped about that, and then we had this past April we had our Weekend of Champions event. And we had a great build up to it because our champion at the time, his name is Stan Sierra, and he had the title for 1,238 days.
Oh wow!
And we kept building and building, only for the championship to change hands at the Weekend of Champions. So getting the energy in that gym and the reaction of that title changing hands, that went to Marty Clay. Great young wrestler. That he's going to go places.
Yeah.
But Stan Sierra, you know, he you know, held that title for such a long time. He held it, I believe he got it 2021, I think is when he won it. So he held on to that title for such a long time, held it with dignity. And when you thought AMW, you thought Stan Sierra. Well, now when you're thinking AMW, you're thinking Marty Clay. And it was really cool to know that to be a part of that on the producer side of it. Now, on here's kind of the cool thing when it comes to like ring announcing, though.
Mhm.
I've had a bunch of great opportunities, throughout the years. I've gotten to announce for guys like Abyss, Wildcat Chris Harris, Eric Young, you know, golly, there's so many of them. One of my very first shows I got to work outside of KCW had Chris Jericho doing a signing.
Really?
Yeah, he was doing a signing, but one of the coolest things, when I came, I took a long time out of wrestling, from 2017 to 2022. And in 2017, I decided that I wanted to focus on the family a little bit more and get off the road a little bit, just spend time at home. And it felt good.
Okay.
In 2021, I got really sick. I ended up getting pneumonia that went sepsis, found out that I was an uncontrolled diabetic, and my body said, all right, I'm done breathing. And they had to put me on a ventilator. And so I was in a coma for a week.
Oh my goodness.
Very hard time. I'm going to get there, Bobby. Hang on. Bobby Blade, my partner in crime. Say hello to Bobby.
Hey there, Bobby.
But I got really sick, and it wasn't a good situation. I came out of it, as most everybody in the wrestling business would say, I kicked out at 2. I got to feeling better, but all the while my dad was sick. And one day we got to sit down and talk, when I was feeling better. And at the time I'm using a walker and a cane, depending how I was feeling, because I lost all the strength in my body being on the ventilator. And he sat down with me one day and he said, I got a question for you. I said, what's that? He said, do you miss wrestling? And I said, absolutely, I do. I said, but I'm not in a position to get back into it. And he said, well, if you ever do get back into the position, I want you to make a promise to me. I said, what's that? He said, make one more good run for me. That's what I want. One more good run. I said, if I get into that position, I will. And at the time I was working retail, and retail, you just don't do that. Next day, they were getting ready to put, my mom and my dad were actually getting ready to put an offer on a house down here in the town where me and my wife and kid live. And he actually had an emergency and passed away later that day.
Oh.
The day after that conversation. And that was one of those things where it was kind of eye-opening. And my at that point, 2021, it was just the worst year ever, period. But there was an opportunity that came up to get the job that I'm working at right now that allows me to be doing wrestling again. And there was one day, there was a show at a brewery right near where I got this job. And I actually went in for training that day. And then that night I was like, I'm just going to stay in town and go watch wrestling. So
I would too.
over there. we went over there, and I went over there to catch the show, and then Tony Presley, who runs New South, he pulled me aside and he asked what happened, and because we hadn't talked in years. And he said, "Well, I want you to know I'm thinking about starting wrestling up again." I said, "Really?" He said, "Yep." I said, "Okay." He said, "Here's the thing. If I do it, I want you as my ring announcer." And he said, "I'll let you think on it. And then when time gets closer, I'll come back to you." I said, "Okay." January 2022, he comes to me, he says, "All right, I got my first show. Do you want in?" I said, "Yeah, I want in." First show featured legendary Larry D versus Billy Gunn in the main event.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Also on that card was
That would be
Chelsea
fun.
Green, the Gun Club, Carlito. It was a stacked card. And I got to introduce all the likes of them. Jack Vaughn, he was on it. Jack was starting to do do a lot more TikTok videos at that point.
Yeah.
And then like his second show back, I got to ring announce probably one of the coolest things ever in my mind, because I grew up watching them. Dangerous Doug Gilbert versus Jerry the King Lawler. Yeah. So
who are you rooting for?
What's that?
Who were you rooting for?
Oh, I had to go with Jerry. I had to go with Jerry, and I got to commentate on that. So it was even.
Did you?
It was like, holy crap.
Yeah.
So, oh, Eric's awesome. He is one of the greatest sound guys in wrestling. But I got to work. I have my list here. The boys: Jerry Lawler, Doug Gilbert, Queen Aminata, Danny Moe, Facade, James Storm, Hernandez, Toa Leona, Tatanka, Dylan McQueen, Myron Reed, Lexus King, aka Brian Pillman Jr., Jay Lethal, Carson Drake, and then this is what Bobby Blade wanted me to hit on. Was we had with New South, we had Booker T on one of our shows. He was managing a guy named Matty Ice, who just started with his Reality of Wrestling promotion. And he decided, we offered him to come up. And Eric, you missed that one, buddy. I already mentioned it. But he got to come up and manage Matty Ice. One of the coolest things ever. And I wasn't ready for this. I get to introduce him, which was cool. But then he backs me into a corner. And he just basically gives me the Booker T eyes. The big wide-eyed look.
Oh, yes.
I'll show you what a real introduction's like. There's a TikTok video of it. Go find it. It's amazing. I can officially say I marked out so hard silently that I wanted to go in the back, go, oh my gosh, that was so cool. But yeah, so Booker T, class act, love the dude. Love Jay Lethal too. Jay Lethal, we got to talk a lot, and we actually got to recreate a picture that me and him took when he wrestled for TNA Wrestling, which was even cooler. And that was back in the day. So bunch of great opportunities came up, and I really feel like a lot of that was like my dad just being like, all right, here you go, son. Let's have some fun. And, I got a lot of good people putting into my life, and it's been wonderful to be back ever since.
Well, I'm glad you returned. I think that has to be probably one of your proudest moments, if I had to ask. I don't think I really have to ask that question, because not only were you following through with, obviously something that was very important to him, because he posed the question to you, and you were able to not only do that, get back into it, but obviously succeed very well. And gave us the opportunity to come across your path and and get to know you. So I know we're grateful for that. Isn't
Absolutely.
that right, Victoria?
Yes, 100% all the way.
I'm going to let you go ahead and jump into chat because I did see that we had some people chiming in, so I do want to get to them.
Yes, please let me have this moment. Just one. It lasts that long. Oh, let's see here. Let's see. We had Cindy come in saying, "Dang, I feel like one of the Golden Girls when everyone was talking about their age."
Oh,
Oh, let's see. We had Jenny Howell saying, "Sweet, I'm 45 and 46 July 21st."
that's
Oh,
okay. Yeah, all of y'all that I am very rarely the one that has anyone older than me. So come on, you can hang around me all you want.
we have Bobby Blade bringing up Aaron. Don't forget announcing Booker T. And there you go. He just was able to bring that up. Bobby Blade saying, "Howdy." We're going to Eric joining the chat. Who let this Aaron Rose in here? Haha, love you, buddy. No, we had Eric giving him some shit a second ago. We want double Eric Bobby Blade.
So real quick on that. Our running joke in the wrestling world is Bobby Blade looks a lot like Arn Anderson. We give him crap about it all the time.
Great. We have Eric saying, "I love working shows with Aaron, and he's the peanut butter to my jelly. Blueberry jelly, that is." Let's see. We had Cindy coming saying, "Oh my God, Jerry and Doug, that would be hard. I gotta go with Jerry too." Cindy, agreeing with you with that Jerry Lawler.
Yep, Cindy, that was such a cool moment.
Especially when they were able to work for and do that announcing board. That was insane. Talk about being amazing.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. Like again, when we hit the socials, there's a TikTok of that too. So, yeah.
Oh, we're gonna find it.
Oh yeah, yeah.
We'll find it. Absolutely. We had Eric saying he also creates awesome music too.
Oh yeah, I did a little mix for one of the promotions that he ran sound for. CCW in Louisville. I actually had a cool hookup with one of our radio DJs that I worked with, and he did some great voiceover work for us, and it was kind of a cool thing to get people pumped up. So that's what he's referring to there.
Awesome.
Awesome. And then Aaron means a lot to me. I'm glad to call him my brother.
Appreciate you, Eric. You as well, my man.
Okay. You can continue asking your questions, Michelle. I'm sorry.
Well, actually, I was going to suggest if we wanted to go ahead and have a little fun and play a game. I know we are known for giving things away, and we're not going to let this Slam Stories episode pass by with that opportunity. And didn't know if you wanted to touch base on a little something else that we got going on. We're going to be introducing a contest tonight while we're live. I don't know if you caught that earlier, Aaron, when we released it on Facebook, but we do have an event coming up this weekend that we'll be at, and we wanted to, give back to the wrestling fans and give away 2 tickets. So did you want to go ahead and talk about how we're going to do that? That way it kind of ties into the game that Aaron and I will be playing.
Yes.
All right. Thank you.
Yes. So obviously talk about the contest, and let me spin about the game. The game is going to be where we will be playing. It's 2 truths and a lie, except we're going to do it 50-50 edition. Okay. So it's going to be 1 truth and 1 lie, and I'll be saying them, and it's going to be playing Michelle versus Aaron. So be careful. She's going to snap. I already know it. She's going to act a little crazy. She's going to get a little oversight. I'm calling it now.
Well, as long as I win, it's all good.
Yep. She says that, and then she's gonna get to the point where you're gonna be in the lead, and then the next thing you know, it's like, what happened? She turned into a ferocious dog.
It's not true. Don't believe her, Aaron.
No.
I'm only a little competitive.
Say that. Well, we're gonna do 9 rounds this time, so we won't go too crazy. But first, I think we need to find out who you guys are gonna be playing for.
Okay.
Okay, so we're going to have Aaron pick, and I'm going to say a number 1 through, let's see how many people we got today. I'm going to have you guys pick a number 1 through 10. We're gonna have Aaron go first, I think.
Let's go with 8.
8. Today, you get to play for. How sad is that? You today get to play for Denny Howell.
All right, Denny.
Okay. All right, Michelle, what number are you feeling today?
I was going to go with 6 this time.
6? Ooh, okay. You actually get to play for Jasmine Stearns.
All right.
Okay. So we got some good ones.
Let's do this, Jeff. All right. Boys are going down. Girls against boys.
Oh, I did play like that. That's funny. That's perfect, too. Okay.
All right.
So is everyone ready?
Let's do it.
Yeah? Okay. So the first one is John Cena has never beat The Rock, or that John Cena has never held the Intercontinental Championship.
So I gotta choose which one's the truth.
Mm-hmm.
I believe the truth is John Cena's never held the Intercontinental Championship.
What are you gonna say?
Actually, I'm going to go the other way around. My first, I don't have a clue, but my gut feeling at first said that he hasn't beaten The Rock.
Well, Aaron is correct. John Cena has never held the Intercontinental Championship, which means Aaron's got a point to Denny Howell.
Yeah.
You feeling over there, Michelle?
He have one. I let him have one. He needs a head start. It's okay.
Oh.
This is-
See, I told you. Give her 1 second. All right. Round number 2. A jobber once held the world championship for a few minutes, or Shawn Michaels and Triple H originally never wanted to be a tag team.
Oh. I'm gonna go with the jobber holding a championship because I feel like that could have been something that happened and it could have been a fluke. So I'm gonna say that's the truth.
Michelle.
I think I'm going to go against him again.
You're gonna go against him again?
Yep.
Okay. Well, you shouldn't have done that because you're wrong.
Ha!
A jobber did hold the world championship for just a few minutes.
Who? No kidding.
Who? I don't know the. Okay, that's mean.
And where's this footage?
I bet you it's at a house show.
See, now she's getting. It's because you're trying to challenge it. You don't believe that you're wrong.
Challenge. Lifeline.
Yeah. So, Aaron, you got yourself another point.
All right.
Okay, so round 3. Okay, come on, Michelle. You gotta lock in. You got this. I believe in you.
Well, I got to build the suspense. I got to make him think he has it.
Okay, and that's what you're gonna say. Okay, so let's see if Aaron can win you where you don't even get a point. Because I don't think anyone's been able to do that to you.
No.
He'll be the first one. Be able to give him.
Maybe.
Okay, we're not even on the third question yet. Settle down.
Okay, fine. Fine, jeez. Okay, number 3. Jeff Hardy was the youngest person to wrestle in WWE at the age of 16, or Edge has never won an Elimination Chamber match.
Jeff Hardy being the youngest to wrestle at 16. That's the truth.
You're stating that this record, he still holds that record of being the youngest? Or just that at one time he held that?
No, he is still the youngest at the age of 16.
To back that up, I'm pretty sure he was a jobber at that point.
Because they didn't even know his age. He didn't tell them.
Right.
All right, I'll believe it. I was thinking someone else was, but I can't gather enough evidence in this chaotic mind of mine. So I'll actually side with him this time.
Well, you were correct. Yes, Jeff Hardy was in fact. So look at Aaron racking up all of these points.
Y'all, I'm a wrestling
Yeah, but at
nerd.
least I have one, so it's not like it was a clean sweep or
True.
anything. So you can take that garbage and
True.
throw it.
Oh, it's too feisty. Calm down, lady. I have control. I will put you in timeout in the back. You need to breathe. Okay, let's see here. Round number 4. The Miz is a 3-time Grand Slam champion, or that CM Punk put the WWE Championship in his fridge after winning.
CM Punk put the title on his fridge. That's the truth.
Yeah, for sure.
Yep. That is correct. He did, in fact, do that. Yes. I'm watching Michelle, please. Michelle's going to go first in this next one.
Okay.
Cool.
All right. Bring it on. Let's see if she gets it. All right. Round number 5. Yes. The Rock accidentally won the 2000 Royal Rumble match, or that Seth Rollins was the first ever man to beat Roman Reigns one-on-one.
The Rock is the truth.
Aaron?
Repeat those one more time for me, please.
Yes. So either The Rock accidentally won the 2000 Royal Rumble match, or that Seth Rollins was the first ever man to beat Roman Reigns one-on-one.
Rollins beats Reigns.
False. The Rock accidentally won the 2000 Royal Rumble.
I thought the Rock botched his win. That's what I was thinking, because I thought he botched his win by having his feet touched first, even though he was supposed to win it.
I think he did that twice. Like, he botched it, but then he also accidentally won. Like, Rock is kind of clumsy, it seems, in the Royal Rumbles.
Gotcha.
The Rock is clumsy altogether, but we won't get into that.
Okay.
So, Michelle, you're the only one who got a point that time.
No, Michelle's going to go first this time. Yeah, there you go.
Don't even.
Wait, what's the score now?
Aaron has 4 points, and Michelle, you have 3.
Okay.
All right, next round. Here we go. Kofi Kingston once got in a real fight with Rusev, or John Cena once took extra long in the bathroom so someone else could have a longer match.
I'm going to say the Kofi Kingston fight took place. That was true.
Cena. It was Cena.
Aaron is correct. Cena did, in fact, do that. Kofi Kingston
Probably
did not
didn't do
get
that.
in a
I
real
still
fight.
don't like him anyway. He can be as good as a guy as he wants. I still don't like him anyway.
I think I remember the story. It was I think it was for Brodus Clay, maybe?
Yeah.
For him to have his
Exactly.
WrestleMania moment.
Mhm.
And he
See?
just kind of, he took a long time so Brodus could have that moment because they were going to cut it.
Oh, he's good. He's good. I start to feel like I should have made these harder. He's coming. He's coming.
Next time, do a background
Rick,
check on my opponent, please.
get to do a quick run through and see
It's
how
so
well he
hard to
knows
get
his
good help
wrestling.
around here.
Oh my goodness, we cannot do that. People aren't gonna want to come on because they're knowing that we're now like hunting them down. And, like,
I'm gonna
searching
start
them
sending
out.
in secret trivia players just to see how well they do and what their weak spots are. I got this.
Oh my gosh, she's like ready for it. You're not that far behind. You don't have to do all that, okay?
I'm gonna trip him.
Okay, let's move on to round number 7. Macho Man is a 2-time Royal Rumble winner, or Hulk Hogan is a two-time Royal Rumble winner. Which one is it?
Go
I'm
ahead.
gonna say, oh, go ahead.
No, you're good.
Okay. I was gonna say I don't really know, but I would like to think that maybe the truth is that Hulk Hogan won it 2 times, even though it was 2 times too many.
I'm going to agree because I do not believe Macho Man ever won a Rumble.
You both are correct. Hulk Hogan is the one who was a 2-time Royal Rumble winner.
I know the closest Macho got was 93 when he was a runner-up to Yokozuna.
Yeah, see, he's way too good. This is a problem. If you can get to the point where you can give dates,
I'd like to
man.
take this moment to do a shout out to my son, Xavier. The next time you create a game like this, you're going to be hurting, buddy. Love you. All right, back to the game.
Take away his rights to be able to play the Mountie theme song. He'll be fine. There you go. Take the
That
microphone.
PlayStation is mine.
Okay, we are on to round number 8. Let's see. There were actual ghost sightings backstage at WrestleMania 37, or Kurt Angle was once arrested at a WWE event.
Ooh. Angle? That's the truth.
Okay. So,
I'm going to say that the ghost sightings are the truth. I could see them seeing weird crap going on. So that's what I'm going to go against him. Got to do it so I can get a point ahead.
well, it did work in your favor because you are correct, Michelle.
Ooh.
There was sightings of ghosts at WrestleMania 37, and Kurt Angle was not arrested at a WWE event.
But he should have been.
It was after an event. He was driving away from the arena. That's when he got arrested because I think he had HGH in his car.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
So close to the event, but it wasn't actually at the event. So close.
Yeah. Well, now that I think about it, I'm like, oh.
All right, this is the last round. All right.
And what are the
now.
score? Are we tied now?
No, Aaron is at
Is that-
6 points, and you're
Okay.
at 5.
Ooh.
Okay, so I can tie it up. Gotcha.
You can tie it up, and then we'll have to do a tiebreaker. Or
Okay.
Aaron will get you just win it, and here we go. So let's see.
Let's not boost his confidence too much now. Okay, he got the platform. He's the guest storyteller. He's fine.
He's fine. Okay, well, here we go. Ric Flair had a heart attack during a match, or Randy Orton is the youngest world champion.
Okay, but are we talking real heart attacks or fake ones?
I don't know what you think it is.
All right, I got
Really
my
appreciate
answer.
it.
Michelle, you go ahead.
Okay. Well, I'm going to say that Ric Flair had a heart attack. And if I have to explain myself on that one, I will, because there's kind of something I think I remember correctly on that one, but I'm not entirely sure. But I'll say that one. Yeah, sure. That one, sure.
I'm going to say it's Ric Flair, and I have the particular time that he had the heart attack. It was on his last match, July 31st, 2022. He had a heart attack in the ring, and that's why he was out for so long. He actually had a heart attack for real.
I believe and what I was based on that one is because I recall the whole hoopla about how horrible of an act it was, that it was supposed to be part of a stint. And then it turned out that there was even an article released that he did in fact have one. Or am I thinking of something else?
Yeah, it was his last match. He actually had a heart attack.
All right. Well, that's what I was saying, Victoria.
Yeah.
Aaron, too.
Yes, but you're right. You're 100% correct. And so you both got it correct. However, that doesn't matter because Aaron is still our winner with a solid 7 points.
All right.
Which means congratulations to Aaron as well as congratulations to Denny Howell.
All right, Denny.
Congratulations, guys. And Victoria, why don't you explain what we're giving away this time and why?
Okay, so usually what we give away is a $25 gift card. However, this time we are going to be giving away our 2 front row tickets as a contest, in a form of a contest, to the No Faults Pro Wrestling Mayhem in Murfreesboro. So what we're doing is you actually earned yourself 25 entrants into that raffle to possibly win those 2 tickets.
Nice.
But now what that means is you'll actually have a total of 26 entries that go in tonight, because we are about to start that contest right here live. Oh, go ahead, and I'll let Denny thank Aaron fast before we get into that.
Okay, Denny Howell, thank you, Aaron.
Yes. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to go back. We've been doing a lot of throwbacks and thinking a lot since we just recently came across our 1-year anniversary here at Ringside Rivalries. And one of our favorite games that we played last summer, and we may have done it one more other time, but I'm not entirely sure, but I know for a fact we did play it last summer. It was a Guess the Silhouette game. So what Victoria is going to do here in just a moment is she's going to put up a picture of a wrestler that has been cleared out, blackened out, so that it is just the silhouette, just the shadow. And what we want you all to do is to go ahead and take a guess on who you believe the picture is. And you can go ahead and put your answer into the comments. Those of you who are correct will earn an entry into the drawing. There's going to be 4 opportunities to get entered into the drawing for these 2 tickets to No Fault Pro Wrestling this Saturday. We're going to count the silhouette that we're going to show you here in just a moment. Tomorrow morning on the Ringside Rivalries Facebook page, we will release another silhouette. We will release the 3rd tomorrow night on the Ringside Rivalries Facebook page. And then the final silhouette on Friday morning on the same Facebook page. Then we'll come back later that night and we will announce the winner who have won those 2 front row tickets to No Fault Pro Wrestling's Mayhem in Murfreesboro, which is taking place this Saturday in Murfreesboro, Illinois. So I'm going to hush now. Victoria, let's go ahead and I'm going to let you take over and let's get this contest started. What do you say?
I say I am down for it. Let's see if they can guess. So let's.
All right, there is. If you think you know who that is, go ahead and type your guess out in the comments. If you are correct, There he is.
Aaron, I'm moving you because you're doing your little hands. We see you. I'm moving you. I see you.
No, I was trying to like point for you.
He's like, this one right
Wow. And do we have some people chiming in? We're going to do this one together. Not yet.
Yes, not yet. Not yet.
And
It
we
is
will
a
also,
difficult
after
one.
the, it is a difficult one. It really is. But look at it. It's available out there. Do some research if you have to. If you don't already like and follow the No Fold page, do so. Take a look around. You might see something that looks familiar. We will go ahead and we'll post this picture on our Facebook page after the podcast as well. So you'll be able to reference it. And you guys can comment on all of the silhouettes up until Friday mornings. We always give you up until the last minute to take a guess. So please do so. Put it in the comments. You can agree with others. You can disagree with others. Just go
If
ahead
you're
and
watching
try.
yourself, whatever you're feeling.
That's right. But just know, Jenny, you will be getting 26 entries if you can guess correctly. Well, he'll get the entries anyway.
Well,
once
you'll
he
get
gets one.
25. Of course.
Yeah. He's got them anyway. But come on, let's get your 26th one.
It's, I know it's tricky. I know it's tricky.
It
I think you guys
is.
though. I think.
But like I said, it'll be posted so they can come back and they can reference. Like I said, if you haven't already, go check out that No Fold Pro Wrestling page. Take a look around. You'll see something that looks familiar, and I think you'll be able to give us an answer. All right, Victoria, go ahead. We will let that silhouette take a rest until we can get it posted out there. Oh, we got someone coming in.
You got Denny House and Rachel Ruggles. No,
No.
not quite. Not quite. You get Kelly asking you, Aaron, who is it?
Don't know. That's my mom. Hi, Mama.
Oh, you're not quite. Not quite, Denny.
That's okay. No, that's okay. Good guess. And so there's no time limit on this one anytime soon. You've got until Friday morning. So no worries. But what I would like to know now, Mr. Rose, before we let you go, what's next in your story? What chapters do we have to look forward to?
Well, I really want to continue, the strong production work I'm doing with AMW. We might have some really good things on the horizon. So we're really trying to lean into that. Of course, I want to continue to be a great ring announcer, a great commentator, and to get a shot somewhere. Whether I'm going to shoot for the stars. I always will. I don't care where I'm going, but I'm going to shoot for the stars. So I would like to, get a shot somewhere. But for me, the biggest thing is to continue to do this in service of my dad and make him proud of this run that I'm doing. And I'll be quite honest, I could quit right now and be satisfied because this past couple years has just been absolutely amazing. But I know there's great things on the horizon, and I do not want to abandon those. So that's, I know it's kind of vague, but just keep looking for me to grow and keep looking for the opportunities.
Well, that we certainly will. You have our support 100% of the way, and we can't wait to see what you've got next up your sleeve because we know it's going to be great. You're doing a fantastic job out there. We can't wait to actually get to see you in person.
Absolutely.
Most importantly, though, thank you so much for agreeing to come on and give us a shot and chat with us for the last hour and a half. It's been an absolute pleasure to get to know you more, and I can't wait to see what else you're going to do. But again, to finally get to meet you in person, and it's in the near future. It absolutely is.
Well, I'll be looking forward to seeing you guys, and I really appreciate y'all let me come on, tell my stories, and really just enjoy my time here for sure.
Absolutely. Well, I will not take up another moment of your time. You know how much we appreciate you. We always will. We hope you and your family have a wonderful rest of your night, and we will definitely be in touch. We'll see you out there.
All right. Thanks so much. Y'all take care.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Oh, Miss Valentine, before I say goodbye for us as well, I would like you to go ahead and if you could pop up our upcoming event slide. Hopefully, I think we have it all updated to where we can take a look to see what events are coming up. And of course, we'll update it as more become available. And if there's anybody that you don't see that you think that we've missed and we need to get on there, don't hesitate to give us a heads up so that we can get them added. We want to get as much exposure as we can out there.
Absolutely, there's some good ones, like Michelle always says, get greedy. Pick a few, go out there, travel, get them, go see your favorites. Go give those heels the amount of shit you want to give them.
That's right. It's more fun to do it in person. So get out there and get in there and show your love and your passion for independent wrestling. That's all we ask for.
Absolutely.
And please make sure to follow, if you haven't already, the ring announcer, Aaron Rose. As we go ahead and close out here, we will put up a slide with all of his social media contacts. So there's plenty to choose from on whichever place you follow. Please do so. But thank you so much for being here for episode 9 and giving us your continued support. We say it over and over again, but we really, truly cannot put it all into words. Thank you so much for being here for us. And we'll see you soon.